Doing, Neil? It's a beautiful day here in North Carolina. I might be going out and playing golf later this afternoon.
Ah, and that's your sport that you still enjoy while still working, right?
Oh yeah, every weekend and on Wednesday afternoons.
All right. So our topic today is the importance of estate planning, lessons from Hulk Hogan's estate. And just for people to understand, Hulk Hogan has just passed away last week, and it kind of set a ripple effect in different ways. But Alan always talks about estate planning, and this is going to be really an interesting topic with our expert, Alan Porter from Strategic Wealth Strategies. What are the key elements of a solid estate plan, and why is it important to have these conversations early?
Well, you've got to have a plan. I always say you've got to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, get one. If you do have a plan, update it, and not to every 5 years or 10 years. Update it yearly, sometimes or semi-annually. But a strong estate plan includes a clearly drafted will, trust, durable powers of attorney for finances and healthcare, and advanced healthcare directives. Having these conversations early assures that your wishes are honored, minimizes potential family conflict, and reduces tax burden. And Neil, I can't tell you how many families, the brothers and sisters don't talk to each other because of getting inheritance squabbles. It's terrible.
How can families avoid conflicts and misunderstandings when it comes to inheritance, as seen in the Hogan family situation? For people out there, and I know, Alan, you've been seeing it as well, Brooke Hogan's not going to get any money from the inheritance. And his latest wife, it's only been Sky Hogan, which has only been 6 months or 8 months, is getting 7 million. So that's why
Well,
it's important for the whole family to get along.
it's
Because
very, very sad. But how can families avoid these conflicts? Well, clear, open communication is crucial. Families should openly discuss inheritance intentions involved in family members and planning discussions, and clearly document all wishes through professionally prepared legal documents.
key. What role do states play in estate distribution, and how can individuals ensure their wishes are honored regardless of those laws?
Well, I'm gonna tell you something right now. I would call two cases right off the top of my head. Some of us remember Joe Robbie Stadium. He owned that, and the Miami Dolphins. His family was worth approximately $400 million at one time. His family got a, just a fraction of that $400,000 because the government put the state in probate. And what probate is a lawsuit, in my definition, a lawsuit that's initiated by you that you're going to pay for and you're going to lose. Because when the government comes in and confiscates your assets, they're going to sell them to pay the taxes on your estate. And they don't have the stadium or the team because they had to sell it. And now, their family's got maybe 10% of that estate. I don't know how much, but I know it's way less than 30%. The other one, just not recently, a couple of years ago, Prince the Entertainer. Most people know him. Lives out in Minnesota. He didn't have a will or a trust set up, and they went and put it in probate. His family is going to get maybe 20% of that. And what's really bad about this, Neil, is attorneys are going to get 6 to 12% of that estate for legal services. And the longer they pull it out, the more money they make.
And they never want to settle.
No, but without proper planning, state laws dictate estate distribution, often not aligning with personal wishes. Individuals can ensure their specific intentions are followed through drafting a legally valid will or establishing trust, tailored to tailored to default state distribution rules.
How can blended families navigate estate planning to prevent disputes and ensure fairness for all parties involved?
Well, I see this all the time. Also, you've got one family they're married for 10 years and divorced or whatever. But one thing uh, I can bring out: this one guy died several years ago, 25, and then he got remarried. 25 years later, he'd worked for the same company. He died. Well, guess what? He didn't update his beneficiary forms. And the wife that he was first married to, lived with him for maybe a couple of years, got his entire 401k. His wife that lived with him for 25 years got nothing. But blended families benefit significantly from carefully structured trust, beneficiary designations, and clearly outlined distribution plans. Having a hard time talking today. These tools clearly specify each family member's share, minimizing ambiguity and the likelihood of conflict, which can be very, very, it's emotional and it can harm families.
What are some common mistakes people make in estate planning, and how can they be avoided?
Well, just like I said, you got to have a plan, and you must update the plan regularly, whether it's in yearly or semi-annually. But neglecting to communicate intentions with heirs, overlooking digital and non-traditional assets, and assuming estate planning is something only for the wealthy, that's a terrible decision. Regular professional reviews and transparent family discussions will help avoid these pitfalls.
How does having a clear estate plan benefit not just the family, but also the individual's legacy and values?
Well, I always say control from the grave. You know, you've got people that got millions of dollars, and they've got one child. They're not going to leave the money to him because he's a drug addict. And I said, okay, do it like this. Make sure he can have a trust fund, but that trust fund will only be given out if he takes a yearly drug test or a semi-annual drug test, or make sure that they have a job, and this trust fund will match any income they have from that job. That's one way of doing it. But a clear estate plan allows individuals to communicate their core values and priorities beyond the grave and their financial asset. It preserves a legacy, supports causes they care about, and reinforces personal and familiar values for generations to come.
In what ways can a financial advisor assist families in having these crucial conversations about making informed decisions?
Well, you've got to have somebody that knows what they're talking about, because a lot of people out there don't. They just say they're a state attorney. You got to get an estate attorney, get a certified financial fiduciary as an advisor, have them explain financial concepts to the family members, allowing their values and goals to be carried on for generations. You know, one of the biggest things, and I think one of the most important documents I ever developed, it's called Peace of Mind Checklist. And I give this out to every client that I have. And it's nothing more but about 6 or 7 pieces of paper. But it puts them together. And what it does, it lists all the assets that they have. It lists exactly where all the passwords are, the codes, everything. I've got so many clients that are running around now still looking for 401ks that their father or mother had years ago, or IRAs, but they don't know how to get them. And then when they do find them, they can't open them up because they don't have the proper passwords. It's a huge headache. And you don't want your family to have these type of headaches when you go to retire. I mean, when you pass away, you want to be mourned, but you want to be celebrated, and don't give them the reason to have the headache. But also, one of the things I do too is when I talk to people about their house, I said, what are you going to do with your house? They said, what are you talking about, Alan? Well, I'm going to give it to my kids. I said, your kids don't want your house. What do you mean? They want tax-free income. And I tell them, I said, listen, let me say this. If you've got 2 children in a house and you go to die without proper planning, guess who the biggest beneficiary is? It's the U.S. government. People don't know that. And I said, do you want your family, your kids to talk to each other after you pass away? Well, of course. Well, if you have a house and you got 2 kids, one of them wants to sell it to pay off bills or whatever, the other one wants to rent it out. You got a huge conflict of interest out there. So you need to talk to your family and see what they want to do with the house in retirement, because there's many things you can do with it that will give your family tax-free money and probably hundreds of thousands of dollars more.
All right. The best place to call Alan is 910-551-1046, or go to strategicwealthstrategies.com, or email him at strategicwealth0@gmail.com. Thanks again, Alan.
And Neil, again, I do not charge for my counseling sessions. It's all educational. Give me a call, because there's many things I can teach people. I show people the financial strategies the wealthy and the banking institutions have been using for years, and I educate you on that.
All right. That was